Perfect. Apologies in advance, one for the very strong Glaswegian accent, and two because I'm one of the people that have to rush away to pick up my son from primary school at 3 o'clock. So I am a PhD student. My project is investigating diverse student experiences of higher education. The title is Playing the Field, Diverse Postgraduate Students' Experiences of Higher Education. So to give you a bit of background, really it's about looking into the barriers that students face entering higher education. And I was one of those which prompted me to take on this project. I'm a first generation university student, non-traditional. I had caring responsibilities. I'm a mum, as you can see from the picture. And I feel like I experienced a lot of barriers throughout my education experience going right back to secondary school. So this slide, really, I just like the quotes. I used it as a task in a previous presentation, and it links back to what Mike was saying in the opening chat. And it's really about, who is included in the conversations within higher education settings. Diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is being asked to the dance, equality is being on the party planning committee, and it's about bringing all of these things together to enact any sort of change. So some of the research that's already out there is telling us that students from BAME groups are 50% more likely to drop out of studies. 1 in 3 students with any disability report that they could not succeed within higher education due to inadequate institutional support. And statistics suggest that non-traditional student groups become disadvantaged as a result of characteristics of diversity. So for me to look into this, I started off with a systematic review looking at existing resources, including grey literature, so things that are put out by the government, as well as, theorists and some of the research that's already there. The second part of the project was to explore the lived experiences of current students. So I did that by putting out a questionnaire initially, and then looking to do focus groups and interviews thereafter that. And this year, going into next year, was to co-develop evidence-based and meaningful resources to try and break down some of the barriers that these students face. So phase 1 was systematic review, and I used the Prisma P guidelines to reach a certain standard to ensure that the research was one, up to date and the most recent research. Also looking at published and grey literature, making sure I was looking at the barriers faced by the diverse students and taking out the common themes throughout that research. Phase 2, which threw up some problems for myself, was about representing the lived experiences of students currently attending. And it links into, again, what you guys were talking about throughout the afternoon, probably links back to ethics. For me to engage these students, I had to go through a programme called JISC. So I wasn't allowed to just send, a university-wide email to try and encourage students to take part in the project, which has been a limitation on my project. And instead of the 100 students that I was hoping to get, I got 33, and that was just for the questionnaires. I then had to miss out focus groups altogether because for the second part of the project, I got 6 students, which was the student diaries. And out of the 6 students that agreed to take part, only 3 of them actually did. So, like I say, it threw up some limitations, but I re-looked at the project and I included some stakeholders and encouraged them to become part of the interview process instead of just developing, what I hope to help students in the future. Sorry, I'll take you back to slide 2. So looking at what Mike said, you know, I was trying to get hold of these hard to reach students, myself included, I was one of them. But Mike had said at the beginning, you know, like, why do we care? What is it going to change? And that's why I brought the stakeholders on board, because I wanted to, not only did I ask some lecturers to come on board, I looked at, you know, admin staff that work within a university that deal with the data coming in, to see if they could come on board and give me any sense of why these students are so hard to reach and how we can try and break those barriers down. So phase 3 is what I'm on just now. I'm still going through the data that I've collected, you know, and I'm hoping that it's not just more data and more research. I'm hoping that the project is going to produce ways to break the barriers down for these hard to reach students. As you can see there, I'm hoping to co-develop evidence-based and meaningful resources targeted specifically for non-traditional students. I was hoping to facilitate workshops with student representatives and key leaders within the university setting, i.e. programme leaders, committee members, engage with student services and look at how the findings can improve experiences for non-traditional students, and empowering participants to use their voice to make changes with their own learning community, which obviously you guys have spoke about a lot this afternoon. And that takes me on to the next speaker. Are there any questions at all about my project?